content stipation. Not constipation, content stipation. One of the biggest issues I see content creators experiencing, and one of the biggest issues I had to overcome and successfully have overcome now, is this notion of being so caught up in our ideas, having too many ideas that we take action on none, right? And so in this video, I'm going to talk about how to overcome content stipation so we can get out all our ideas either onto paper or ideally onto the big screen, onto the YouTubes, onto the Instagram. So if you're experiencing content stipation, i.e. having too many ideas that you do nothing with any of them, then this video is really going to help. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a 3-step process to have a paradigm shift so that creating content becomes effortless and you're always going to stay on track. A really cool way of like setting up the bumper guards in a bowling lane so that you always hit the pins down, right? So the first thing we want to understand is that let's assume that you already know what you want to make content about. Okay, this video is not going to be about what sort of content to create. It's like you should already know what your goal is with your audience. So you either want your audience to, perhaps lose weight, or you want your audience to build muscle, or you want your audience to, in this case, make content. You have a goal for your audience in mind, right? And so assuming you're clear on your goal, assuming you know what result you want to help your audience get, and you know what steps they need to take in order to get that result, then it's about creating content about that and those topics. So the first thing you need to really get clear on is this fact that our brain works best when it's doing one thing at a time. And so planning and doing are two completely different things. Like right now I'm creating this video. Right now you're watching this video. When you're watering your garden, you're watering your garden. When you're cleaning your house, you're cleaning your house. And when you're studying for a math test, you're studying for the math test. When you're doing the math test, when you're taking the test, you're taking the test. Two completely different things. And so when you understand there's a difference between planning and doing, you can structure your day so that a part of it is for planning and a part of it is for doing. A big issue I see people doing is thinking like, okay, I need to make a YouTube video today. What should I create? What should I create? And they're like in the motion of like, okay, I need to do, but then they like put on the brakes and like, okay, well, what should I do? What should I do? And then they start planning about it. Start planning for it. But really, you got to break it up in two separate activities. It's like you go to the gym and then you shower. They're two completely different activities. So with content creating, you want to plan and then you want to create. If you try to do both at the same time, it's like mixing oil and water. It just doesn't work that well. So what I like to do is every night before bed, I like to plan out what I'm going to create the following day. Not necessarily a YouTube video, not necessarily an Instagram post, but like what am I going to do the following day? I plan it out every evening. Why every evening? Because every evening I've got 20/20 hindsight vision on how the past day went. I know exactly how my day went. I saw my tendencies. I saw where I wasted time. I saw what stuff needs to get done, what's very important. So I plan to do it the following day. When I wake up, I just execute on that list. I just do. I don't spend any time planning during the day. I just do. And so if you're wanting to come up with content, then I'd recommend spending a part of your evening planning out your content and then the following day executing on it. We'll talk about how to go about doing that in just a sec here, but just understand first and foremost that there's a difference between planning and doing. So you want to make sure, you want to make sure a part of your day is spent planning and a part of your day is spent doing. That's the first thing. Separate the two tasks. The second part, I've got to make very clear here, is that creating content like I'm doing right now, it's typically not on the top of your most fun thing to do list, right? There might be funner things to do. There might be more enjoyable things to do. There might be things that are just a lot easier to do, like sit back and watch a YouTube video, or go for a walk, or talk with a lover on the phone, or whatever you want to do. There's other tasks out there that release a lot more dopamine, and dopamine is very addictive. And so what you want to do, what I want to do at least, the thing that I do that gets me going and creating content like this is just putting myself in a state of dopamine detox, dopamine fast, if you will. I do a dopamine fast each day. Otherwise, I'm just hooked on social media. I'm hooked on like the next ding. I'm hooked on the next shiny object. And so when you lower your levels of dopamine in your body, tasks that you previously did not want to do, maybe like clean the house or clean your room or organize laundry or create content, tasks that you previously did not want to do now all of a sudden become a lot more appealing because it's either between that or staring at a wall. And when you're staring at a wall, often actually that's a really great way to actually motivate and inspire you to create content. It sounds really weird, but by me staring at a wall, I'm like, I just come up with really great ideas for content. I'm like, I'm gonna go create that content. And so if you're constantly, having input coming in, you're constantly listening to books or watching YouTube videos or reading or talking to friends, whatever, you have too much input coming out, you don't have enough output. And so you got to make sure that balance is there. So the best way to strike that balance is by doing dopamine detoxes every day, by doing a dopamine fast every day. Like, don't check your phone first thing in the morning. Don't check your phone till like noon or midday or later. Because by doing a dopamine fast, your dopamine levels get lowered, and then you're much more willing to do tasks that previously weren't that fun. So second tip is just to get bored. And when you get bored, creating content all of a sudden becomes a lot more fun, or seems to be a lot more fun. So that's the second tip there. You got to make sure you get bored so that you're actually willing to do the planning or do the creating in the first place. Otherwise, you're just never going to get around to doing it, because there's going to be a million other things you got going on in your life, right? So that's a tip. Just like do absolutely nothing. If you're not doing anything with your life, you're too busy doing a bunch of stupid crap, but you're not doing the things that you really want to do, just get bored. Just stop everything altogether and just get really, really bored. And it's kind of like pulling yourself back with a slingshot. Like you're feeling so pulled back, and then when you let go, you allow yourself to take action. Poof, you blast off like a rocket. Okay, so those are the top two tips there. Number one was to understand the difference between planning and doing, and the second tip is to just understand the idea of like you got to lower the dopamine levels in order to actually get up there and start creating content. Otherwise, there's too many other exciting ideas to take action on or just waste time with. And when you're doing the dopamine fast, zero input, just purely output or nothing at all, just staring at a wall. Now, the last piece of advice, the third tip here, is to become a binge creator. You want to become a binge creator. Start identifying as someone who binge creates. So rather than thinking, I got to make a new YouTube video every single day, just pick a day of the week, pick a day of the month, pick a day of the year where you binge create so much content that you're done creating for the rest of the week, the rest of the month, the rest of the year. Like it's possible to create enough content in a day for the rest of the year. It's possible to create enough content in a day for the rest of the month. It's possible to create enough content on a day of the week for the rest of the week. But you just have to binge create on that content. And so the first thing I'd recommend doing is, rather than thinking about what day you're going to binge create, start thinking about what day you're going to binge plan. So binge create the list, which is the plan that you're going to follow, so that when you come time to actually create the content, maybe it's tomorrow, you actually have a list to go off. You have a list of video ideas to talk about, or a list of posts to make on Instagram, which you can schedule for later uploads. And so once you've created all your content, once you've filmed it all, once you've edited it all, you can then schedule it to get uploaded thereafter. So that's the idea of binge creating. Rather than having to come up with new content every single day, you can just do it all at once. The NASA, when they launch rockets, and SpaceX, when they launch rockets into space, the biggest fuel waste, the biggest cost of fuel is in that launch. Once they're up in orbit, it's super easy to do. And so creating that first video is always the hardest. Especially even if you're making a series of videos, the first video is always going to be the hardest one. So once you're up and running, once you've made that first video, once you've got the flow going, then it's easy to create the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. The hardest part is just getting started. So that's why binge creating is so helpful. It's another reason binge creating is so helpful, because you can create a whole bunch of content all in one day, and then the rest of the week, the rest of the month, the rest of the year, it's already done, and it's just getting uploaded for you. Which is why I was like saying it's like setting up the bumper guards in the bowling lane, because then no matter where your life goes, no matter where your ball rolls, it's just going to bing, bounce off the walls and still going to hit some pins, still going to knock some stuff down. Even while you're sleeping, or even when you're out hiking, even when you're up in the Himalayas, your content's still going to get uploaded. So you don't need to worry about staying consistent with creating content. You can just do it once and have it all done with. So that's a really, really cool technique that works very, very well. And if you'd actually like to binge create content with me and my team and my students and my crew, then you can check out the link via the description. I've created a Binge Creator Academy. So if you want to join that academy, you want to binge create content together and have it all uploaded, ready, and done, so that people can check out your videos and check out your ebooks or your coaching offers or your online courses, then check out the Binge Creator Academy via the link in the description. It takes you to a free class where I walk you through how I was able to make over $18,358 in my first month after becoming a binge creator myself. So Full class is down below, and it's completely free. And yeah, if you're interested in planning and doing, if you're interested in dopamine fasting, and if you're interested in binge creating, then that class is for you. So hope you liked this video. If you did, awesome. Give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.